Guys, you may know me, you may not know me, but this is one of my first videos for this brand new fitness channel. My name's Anton and I've been a PT for over 10 years. I've competed naturally in many different fitness shows and won some. And yes, I said natural because that is the truth. Anything that's put on the internet, people may judge otherwise because they don't know what they're talking about. But anyways, I'm an online trainer, but I'm also a massive gamer. What? Yeah. With this channel, I'm going to help you get into the best shape possible, give my expertise in all the knowledge I've learned over the last 10 years with my training, with nutrition. So yeah. For my fitness shows, I got down to 4% body fat, which damn, that was very, very hard. And I'm going to tell you 5 things that happened to my body. So this will be relatable to anyone who's losing body fat, anyone who wants to get lean. This is just showing you the extremity of getting to a shredded condition. It will also apply to you because you may experience some of these things that I've gone through. I got down to 4% body fat in 2019. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done. I had 3 shows prior to this one that based off my DEXA scan, I got down to 5.3% body fat. Have to remember in 2019 this cut lasted for 6 months and I did a building phase for well over a year prior to this. So I knew I had to lose 20 pounds in 19 weeks. Obviously I had one of the best coaches coaching me as well, another natural athlete, but we understood that this is what I need to do per week in order to get to that estimated weight. So losing body fat can be hard, yes, but being shredded is another level. And that is why I can't really stand the fitness industry as a whole. And I'll explain it in another video. In number 5, we're going to talk about binging. Now, yes, I was freaking hungry, being shredded, and you do get used to that. I volumized my food as much as possible and went hard at having low calorie dense foods. If you bulk your food up with lower calorie dense foods and also diet drinks, yes, they won't give you cancer. They helped me out a hell of a lot to keep me fuller because I'm trying to keep to my calories at the time. Yeah, man, that made me feel very, very hungry near the end. But depending on how long you've been on a lower calorie diet or you're losing body fat, there's always a risk of you having a relapse and binging, especially after my shows where I got down to such low body fats. This can be a combination of using an extreme approach when you are dieting. So if you feel like you are cutting all the foods that you do love and you're craving those foods, that is not a great thing because you want to include foods that you love in your diet as long as they're trackable. Even in a calorie deficit or when you are losing body fat, you want to be enjoying your meals and you can. It doesn't need to be bland. Now, 2019, I was very good coming out of my show only because I didn't crave anything in particular. I mainly craved more volume. The problem when I did have a high calorie meal, I remember me and my sister had a high calorie meal at the time, and the thing is, because you are such low body fat and you've been deprived for so long, the brain signals from the brain to your stomach take much longer for them to tell you you are full. So it's a very weird thing because usually when you eat you get full and you're like cool. When you're shredded and you have a massive meal, you're like no, I can keep going, and it just takes a longer time for those signals to tell you no, you are full because you've been in starvation mode for a very long time. So binging is always a start, but that brings me on to number 4, which resulting from binging is when you're really, really lean or shredded is the water retention. So after eating a shitload of food, which would normally be fine, the water retention feels so horrible. When getting to low body fats, your metabolism slows down because your body is a defense mechanism. So it does think it's dying. So naturally it will slow down your metabolism. And that is why people may find it hard over time to losing body fat because their metabolism will slow down. And that's where you either have to increase your output so you're burning more calories. You may need to lower your calories slightly because you're no longer in a deficit and your body's become accustomed to those calories. So it can be a number of things. I remember that one-off meal after my show and it may have just been a pizza and a slice of cake. And honestly, the water retention, I remember I put on, I think it was about 7-8 pounds after that meal. Obviously, a lot of it is water. Because I had a show 2 weeks later, it literally took me a couple of weeks to get rid of that water retention. You might notice it when you've been eating good for so long and then you have a blowout and you're like, I feel so bloated. That feeling is the water retention and everything's sticking to you. We're going to move over to energy levels. Doing my shows getting to low body fats for such a long period of time. The problem wasn't even hunger. That was never my issue. I got accustomed to being hungry. My main problem when I got to low body fat was those energy levels. Over the 19-20 weeks, I think I only had around 20 pounds to lose. So working that out per week, I think I had 0.8 pounds to lose per week, which isn't a lot because I used a more gradual approach, which is so much better than going extreme. This made each week quite simple because it was such a small deficit, but no matter what, when I did get to those last few weeks / month and I'm at low body fats, the energy levels just dropped and it was so horrible. I love training, but after a certain amount of time, I hated my training. Even when I was doing my walks, I do a walk down to my shopping center and I do it all the time. It takes about 15-20 minutes. But those last few weeks, I felt so tired, and the description I can give you is that I felt like an old person. This is how I imagine an old person feeling. I felt like I needed to get an Uber back, which I was like, no, you can't do that. You're not wasting money. And everything you see online with all these shredded guys everywhere, magazines, unless they're taking stuff, which is going to help massively. If they're natural, yes, they may look good in all of these photos, and all of my photos, I look amazing. But trust me when I say I felt like absolute shit. I also remember that I was lifting around 200, or was it 200 or 220? I can't remember exactly what one. I'm going to put a video up. I remember doing this weight a few months back, and I think I got like 4 or 5 reps. I was 3 weeks out. You could tell by my cheekbones. I lifted this weight, and oh my gosh, I only got one, and I was just like, damn. No! No! And that brings us on to number 2, which is quite a personal subject, and that is sex drive. Now, this can apply to anyone who has lost a shitload of body fat and they've got very, very lean, or they use an extreme approach. More so, if you're doing it correctly, you should be fine. But if you get down to low body fats, especially for competition, people won't tell you, but oh my gosh, sex drive, your libido will go down massively. I couldn't think of anything worse when I was down at comp. Luckily, I was single at the time because I just couldn't be bothered. Men are supposed to have quite a few erections during the night, and I remember down through the last few weeks, man, I would wake up and I was like, nothing. And some of you may think, man, I thought, if I get shredded and I do a show, I'm probably going to get loads of girls. Trust me, you're not going to want to. We'll tell you. I'll be honest with you guys, you can get that from me. Is that I was thinking about bagels with jam at the time, and I was like, man, I really want a bagel. Man, I want her to turn into a bagel. What? What the f? Like, it's that crazy. That's what it will do to you. But people won't tell you the actual reality of doing shows. And I like to put people off if they do shows, because I just know what it takes out of your social life, your relationships. It can damage your relationships. And this is why with the brand that we've created with Discipline, I want to help normal people achieve extraordinary things. And if you have the right mindset and the right roadmap and the right guidance, you can achieve amazing things. And that is why I've created Discipline. After, when you finish your cut, when I finish my show, the most important thing that can happen is the rebound. If you do not have a flexible approach that you can stick to, once you've achieved it for holiday or for a show, very, very inevitable that you're gonna hit a rebound. When I got down to a low body fat, or when you lose a lot of body fat, your metabolism slows down. Your new maintenance calories to maintain that new weight is a lot lower than when it started. And this is where you have to be so careful, because in this world, we do not have a weight loss problem or a fat loss problem. People can lose fat or lose body fat. We have a rebound problem, and research does show people who lose a substantial amount of weight, I can't remember exactly the study, I'll try and find it, they will put that weight on and even more within the first year of finishing that diet. That is why these extreme diets, they are not sustainable. This is why you need to follow a sustainable diet. Whatever you're doing, whoever's watching this, whatever diet you're doing, I will ask you, do you see yourself doing that diet 2 years, 3 years, 4 years? If the answer is no, and you're like, no, I can't see myself doing this, then you are doing the wrong diet. I use a flexible approach, high carb approach, to help with performance, and you get more volume with carbs, and I see myself doing that for a very long time. So I'm currently doing a mini cut, and my diet is not really changing, it's more the quantities of the food. Yes, I'm bulking up my food with more salads, with more vegetables now than I was before, because I want to keep myself fuller. Generally, it will not change. All of these diets that you see, they may not tell you, whether it's Weight Watchers, Slim Fast, Herbalife, all of these diets that I've had clients in the past that I've used, they never see themselves doing it long term. Keto diet, I don't like these diets, because why would you want to cut out carbohydrates? There are so many foods that are delicious with carbohydrates. That is why reverse dieting and coming out of that diet and maintaining those results are so important. I have so many clients that when they finish their fat loss phase, they carry on training with me online and in person quite a long time. I have clients that have been training for 4 years, 3-4 years, because once you finish your fat loss phase, you want to maintain that, you want to get stronger, you want to live a healthier life, and then you can either go into a building phase or you can maintain, and then eventually you can get leaner for an event. You want to include weight training in your life forever. That's what you want to do. So it's important to understand that the diet after the diet, the recovery diet after the diet, is the most important thing if you want to maintain any sort of results. Now, I hope this video has helped. Drop your thoughts in the comments, ask me questions. I'll try and get back to you. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.